Governor Roemer, are you there?
I am loud and clear, man. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Thanks for being on here. First things first, you want us to call you Governor, Buddy, or Mr. Roemer?
I'm just glad you call him my name, man. Buddy's fine. I'm proud to be here.
Excellent, excellent.
Well, you know, these politicians take these permanent title. You know, we're not England. This is not the 18th century. I mean, this is public service and a temporary job. So that's why I've always gone by Buddy. I don't care whether I was a congressman or a governor or what, a president of a bank. I mean, it's Buddy Roemer. So glad to be here.
That's good to hear. Thank you for taking time here. And, you know, just telling people that you're currently polling nationally about 7%, which is excellent. You know, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the 15% to be there.
Really? And, you know, people talk about that a lot, but I think this election is wide open.
It is.
I think people are concerned about their country. I think the partisan politics has overreached itself, and people are sick and tired of it. I'm excited about the prospects here. And here's my goal. Either I'm the president or somebody better than I'm the president, and either way, I win. My grandchildren win. That's what this is all about, a stronger, better America.
Exactly, and I think that's so great to have people like you who, you mentioned, oh, it's not about the title, I'm just a public servant. You know, one thing that we try to do with the Whigs, we really look for people and are trying to build up, you know, those citizen representatives, you know, those people who, I'm a citizen first. You know, that's who I am, and that's what matters. And I think it's important that we need people to run for office who don't want to be a government, a politician. Who don't
or be thing. They talk about being you know, politics is my career. Well, you know, you live in America, and I don't think politics is the career. You know, you're free to choose what you want to, but I never chose politics as my career. I mean, I'm 68, I'm a grandfather. I've been very fortunate to be born in America and enjoy the fruits of my labor here. I built a bank that's a pretty good-sized bank, very profitable. As you know, we didn't foreclose on our homeowners. We restructured the debt. That was our choice, not theirs, and I think they appreciated it. We have loyal customers. We didn't take any bailout money. We were profitable throughout this great recession, and now this is the weakest recovery in American history, and we're still profitable. But my point is that whatever I do it 100%. I'm independent. That's the way I've tried to find the best team players. I don't care about their gender. I don't care about their color. I don't care about their political parties. I think we ought to build a nation, not a party. So that's why I'm running as an independent. That's why I'm talking to the Whig Party. It's why I'm talking to Americans Elect. It's why I'm talking to the Reform Party. It's why I'm talking to independents. I think we need to build a coalition to take our country back. And once again, the election is wide open, folks. Don't lose faith. This election has not yet been decided.
That's true. That's true. And I love what you're saying about the coalition idea because, you know, I've been involved with what I like to call the movement since 2003, 2004. And at no time until the last recent years, you know, has communication been happening. People are starting to realize, look, we're all in this together. If we can come together and find issues that we really care about, work to find solutions on that, it's going to make the stickier stuff a little bit easier down the road to find consensus on and to build, you know, good ideas there.
Well, if I could give an opinion based on my 68 years and based on my travels around the world, and I mean, I've been to China more times than the president and Romney has put together. I did it on my own ticket, not on the taxpayers. I did it beginning 20 years ago to find out what the heck was happening over there. I needed to know more about it, and I'm glad I did. Here's my point. I think our country's in trouble. I think we live in a difficult time. I see the socialists just gained a narrow victory in France. I think that continent doesn't want to do what it has to do to create jobs, and this is about jobs. That's what this is about. What does it take to grow jobs? And I think that we can solve our problems. I think we can get tax reform where we lower the marginal rate and eliminate all these loopholes that the big boys enjoy and have everybody paying their share. I think we can do a budget that is in balance and affordable. The Obama budget is $1 trillion in debt every year for the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. I think we can do much better than that by eliminating waste, by reducing the subsidies that we give to big corporations and don't need them. I would introduce a 5-year budget and bring spending down 1% a year. Nothing dramatic, nothing drastic, but you wake up 5 years later and you've got a country that's healthy again. I would emphasize deregulation of small business. I would emphasize fair trade with China. I think they are just pulling the wool over our eyes, so to speak.
Yes, they are.
We let their product come into this country with no questions asked, and we can't get anything sold in their country. I was in Los Angeles last month, and let me tell you something. The leader of China was there, and he was celebrating how much trade happened between the port of Los Angeles and China. Well, that's very interesting. I did a little research. There's $133 billion a year in trade between China and the United States that goes through the port of Los Angeles. $133 billion. 2,000 jobs in the port of Los Angeles. But guess what? $122 billion goes from China to America, and only $11 billion goes from America to China. Yeah. So they've created 2,000 jobs in the port, but we've lost 295,000 manufacturing jobs on the same trade. How stupid are we?
I see it here in North Carolina. You know, I currently live in eastern North Carolina, which is a mainly rural area. I live in Greenville, which is one of the larger cities, and it has some medical stuff going on. It's growing. But you look at there's a town about 45 miles away from here, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Back in the 1980s and early 90s, it was a booming town, had industry, manufacturing. It had a varied economy. Of course, it was heavy on manufacturing industry. But now you drive up there, the plants are closed, everything's gone, crime rate is rising. It's just when people cannot, China does not care if American people can feed themselves. You know, it is up to our nation to, in government, Ronald Reagan is famous for saying government is not the answer. But government is not the problem unless it's ineffective, which is what we have right now. Government can be a part of the solution. I honestly believe that, and the Whigs honestly
believe that too.
But
I believe that too.
Where can it be effective? Where can it be effective?
Well, where government can make a difference, it should be strong. Military defense, I mean, we should scrub that budget. We don't need 1,155 bases overseas, but we need a strong military. You and I can agree on that.
Oh, yeah.
That's obvious. But we need a strong government when it comes to international trade. A small company in North Carolina or Louisiana can't deal with the tricks of the trade that the Chinese use. I've seen kids work in these factories. They employ more than 2 million prison laborers in China. I mean, they do all sorts of things that would not be allowed in this country, and we need our government to be strong to defend American workers and American rights. And so I'm not trying to eliminate government. I'm just trying to get it better, cleaner, stronger, and more effective. And business as usual is not the answer.
Exactly. And I know one of your big things is congressional reform. I mean, you're the only candidate running. You have congressional legislative experience. I mean, even back when you were serving, when you were a Democrat, you would cross party lines frequently. You would work with Republicans frequently. When you came in as governor, for Louisiana, you ousted a very corrupt governor, Edwin Edwards. Anybody who knows anything about politics, especially state politics in Louisiana, knows he was corrupt as all get out.
Well, he just got out of jail. Let me say that.
Yeah,
that's been
and then after
20 years ago. Yeah.
What the unemployment rate was cut in half. The government was starting to, the environment was starting to get cleaned up. I think
it was easy. Let me just say, it was easy because I inherited a mess. I inherited a place where the parties didn't talk to each other. I inherited a place where everything was politics. I inherited a place where no one had put a plan together. I mean, it wasn't that I was so smart. It's just that I was free to lead. I wasn't beholden to the two-party duopoly that we have in this country. I didn't listen to their nonsense. We put people first and progress first, and people responded very positively. I see the same thing in Washington. Washington's not just broken, it's bought.
Yeah.
It's corrupt. The big checks, whether it be from GE, they were the largest corporate giver in the last presidential race, or Goldman Sachs, they were the second largest corporate giver. How has it worked for them? I mean, Goldman Sachs got bailed out in the bailout by George Bush and then by President Obama. They didn't tell the truth to the Congress. Obama signed a bank reform bill that didn't eliminate too big to fail, and went to Wall Street the next week, had a fundraiser at $35,000 a ticket, and it was hosted by Goldman Sachs. That's why I call the country corrupt. That doesn't mean that we're bad people. It just means that we're in the bad habit of leaving the country up to the politicians.
Yes.
They failed us. We need to take charge again. We do. We do. That's the answer.
In your campaign, from if I understand correctly, you're really practicing what you're preaching. You have a limit of $100 on donations. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. What kind of idiot am I, by the way?
Well, see, what I love by that is you're not letting, and you're not taking PAC money. You're not letting corporations and PACs have a greater say than your average citizen. $100, yeah, that's a significant amount of money, but if somebody really believes in something, they can donate that, and I think that's wonderful. Well, let me ask you a question. With given how corrupt or how inefficient Congress is right now, basically, being bought, and in the Whigs, and I know you agree this too, corporations, they should have a say in what's going on because, legislation affects them. They do provide jobs, but they should not have a greater say. They should not have a greater say. They should not be able to donate more money than the average American.
Let me say it this way. I'm not trying to eliminate money in politics. It's healthy for a woman to run for office and raise money from her friends and the people she serves. I think it ought to be fully disclosed. Look, I'm a diabetic. I am what I eat. I've been that for 50 years. I'm insulin dependent. I've never taken PAC money. Here's my belief to my people. It's why I win my elections. Even though I'm always outspent, I say full disclosure. You'll know who gives me money and why. We now live in a country where we don't know who gives the money. It is buried. It is hidden. And we need to change that. And that's what I intend to do. I run like I will serve. I want a president free to lead, free to do the right thing. And I can't wait. We're going to change this country in its basic, fundamental way. We're going to not allow the 1% to fund the campaigns and run the country. We're going to ask the American people to take back their government.
Well, let me ask you a question. With given how Congress is right now, when you're elected president, chances are you're probably not going to have a lot of congressional allies, at least those who are coming from alternative parties or who are independents. I mean, that's just realistic, how things are right now. How do you
They'll all be Democrats or Republicans. And
how do you plan on reaching out to them to try to bring them on board and to come together?
First of all, I have some experience. I was elected governor of a state that was corrupt then, that was run by a man who bragged about helping his friends and the people be damned. I beat him. He spent $20 million. I spent less than $2 million and beat him. And when I faced the legislature, not a single member of the 144-member legislature had endorsed me. Let me say it again. Not a single member of the 144-member Louisiana legislature had endorsed me. I was alone. You know who I had? the people. I beat 2 congressmen, a seated governor, and a secretary of state in the election, and I beat them all in the first primary. The first thing that politicians pay attention to are people who win political elections. So, when I address the Congress as president, I will have won the mightiest office in the world, not from the parties, but from the people. And I guarantee you, my strength, my clarity of message will be very powerful, particularly when I start off. And I will do 3 things that no president has done in my lifetime. And I learned this lesson the hard way working with the Louisiana legislature. First of all, I will state what my purpose is as president, and that is to rebuild the nation. And I will show them what this nation will look like when we're stronger and have more justice and have more fairness. Number 2, I will ask for their help and I will listen to them. I will actually call out members of the Congress when I give my joint session to the legislature, unlike any president in my lifetime, including Ronald Reagan, who's a pretty good president. I won't talk about a person who is in business or a friend of the family or somebody sitting in the audience up in the gallery. I'll talk about members of Congress, and I will point them out, and I will praise them for the assistance that they've given me. Number 3, I will make my first bill, House Bill 1, which is campaign reform. No lobbyist money, no PAC money, limit on giving, PACs equal to private giving, no super PACs, full disclosure, 48-hour reporting, and criminal penalties. And I'll tell the Congress that their bills will not advance past my veto pen until we address campaign reform, not on behalf of a party, but on behalf of the American people. They've never had that question put to them. They've never had a president who wasn't dipped in politics, whether it be Obama for the Democrats, or Bush for the Republican, or Clinton for the Democrats, or Bush for the Republicans, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm not going to be back and forth. We're going to build a nation, not a party. And then the last thing I'll tell them is that I will give them praise. I will take none of the credit. I will give them full praise for putting their country first. And I'll make a prediction. Watch what happens. We will straighten this country up faster than you ever thought possible. And the way you do it is to be non-political, give others praise, listen, and then act when you're strong. Watch me.
Excellent. Well, we're about coming up on 2 minutes here left. Last thing I want to ask you is, now, what? How would you respond to those who say, "Well, I really like what Buddy's saying, but a vote for him is just going to be a wasted vote. It's either going to put Romney or Obama in office." How would you respond to someone who feels that way, and why they should vote for Buddy Roemer?
Well, you ought to vote for the person that you think would do the best job. You have a country in trouble. Mm-hmm. We have 28 million Americans who have no work, or who are working part-time at a job that can't pay all their expenses, or who have quit looking. We're getting run over by the Chinese. We have a tax code you can't read. We have a budget that's been out of balance in our lifetime, basically, certainly for this century. We have a budget 10 years from now that has $1 trillion deficit. I mean, we are in trouble. Who's going to solve it? The Republicans? Mm-hmm. The Democrats? I think you're free this election. I think you're free to vote for the best person. And somebody that says you're wasting the vote said, you should tell them, I don't think I'm going to vote for more of the same. I think I'm going to vote for something different. I think I'm going to vote for a man free to lead. This is what you do. Remember this. This is not their vote. This is your vote. You only get one chance every 4 years to say, I want this woman or I want this man to be president. And this time, I want you to look at all the people running, and I want you to say something to your kids and to your family. Say, I'm going to vote for the best person. I'm going to vote for Buddy Roemer.
Excellent. Well, Governor Roemer, thanks for coming on today. And again, check out Americans Elect, www.americanselect.org, www.buddyroemer.com. And seriously, people, support him, support other candidates you think would do well there to continue in the primary Americans Elect, to continue to hear from them. And like I said, Buddy Roemer's pulling 7% nationally, not far off from the 15 to get in the debates, then that's a game changer. And of course, if you have any questions, just contact the folks with his campaign. They're good people. And Governor Roemer, I appreciate your time and look forward to talking with you again.
Goody. My website's buddyroemer.com, and let's go. America's wide open. Let's go.
Thanks a lot, Governor Roemer. You have a good day, and keep up the good work.
I'll do it. Thanks.